Hey, this is Ben from AGP Turbo. Today we're going to talk a little bit about turbo seals. So turbo seals. A lot of people seem to think that a seal is a positive seal in a turbo, but in all reality, your turbo seal is actually just a piston ring. And we're going to show a little bit about where those two piston rings will go. There's one piston ring on the compressor side. There's going to be one piston ring on the turbine side. Some turbo applications use dual piston rings. There's a few different styles. There's a style that has like a staggered gap style piston ring. Some companies will use those. Some will use, like I said, dual rings on the turbine side, dual rings on the compressor side. All in all though, it's still the same principle here. You've got piston ring on one side on the compressor, you've got a piston ring on the turbine side. What these actually do, they don't keep your oil in. Common myth on the internet is that these piston rings are actually positive seals that hold oil into the bearing housing and prevent it from leaking out of your turbine side or prevent it from leaking out of your compressor side. But in all reality, that's actually not the case. What those are designed to do is they're actual gas rings that keep the pressure in the turbine side or the compressor side from entering the bearing housing. That pressure holds the oil into the bearing housing. So basically what we're looking at here is these piston rings are not designed to hold any oil whatsoever. What they're designed to do is keep your boost pressure on your compressor side and your exhaust pressure on your turbine side, also known as back pressure or drive pressure, depending on what market you're in. I know all the diesel guys like to call it drive pressure, but it keeps that pressure from entering the bearing housing. So that's what just holds the turbo and holds the oil from draining out of any other place besides the drain. Here we've got our cutaway of our T3, T4 bearing housing assembly, journal bearing. If we take a look at what some of these components are, we've got our thrust system up here towards the compressor side. We've got our two journal bearings held in by C-clips on either side of those journal bearings. And then what we've been talking about during this conversation is the piston rings, also known as gas rings, also known as oil seals. So if we see here on either end, the furthest most point on the turbine end is our turbine side piston ring. And then it's kind of hard to see up in here, but our furthest point here is our compressor side piston ring. Keep in mind, these are the pieces that go in the system that prevent your compressor side boost. So any sort of pressurized air coming on this side, also known as boost, from entering into the bearing housing. And on the turbine side, you've got, there's our piston ring on the turbine side. Any sort of exhaust pressure, also known as drive pressure in some markets, the diesel guys like to talk about drive pressure, but any sort of pressure, exhaust pressure, back pressure coming on this side is blocked by this gas ring or piston ring, or commonly known as an oil seal on this side. If you've got any problems at all with any of your turbos, please feel free to send them in to AGP. We are a full rebuilding facility. We can make that turbo look brand new again. Also, if you like what you saw today, let us know what else you want to see. We're happy to do another video on anything else educational. If you're liking any of our videos, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Until our next video, we'll see you soon.